what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Foot Candle Films. Film news and reviews from two guys who really like movies.
This episode is brought to you by the Foot Candle Film Society. For a schedule of upcoming screenings and membership information, visit the Society's website at www.footcandle.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. My name is Alan Jackson. With me is Chris Fry. We are both with the Foot Candle Film Society, the annual Foot Candle Film Festival, and here as co-host of the Foot Candle Films podcast. And Chris, I do this every time, but I always ask, how was your weekend? How are you doing? Everything okay? I feel like I'm just running through the motions right now, but I generally do care and I'm interested. So I am asking you here on
good weekend, nothing out of the ordinary, but a good weekend. So, yeah, good. Looking forward to talking about the movie today. Something that I was not aware. I mean, I was aware of the film, but then apparently now that the film's out, and we'll discuss it, but yeah, it's interesting to see reactions on the film. So
the film is getting a little bit of controversy, which we'll dance around in our review, but we will be at least addressing the broader scope of the film in a review. That film being The Drama, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, by writer-director Christopher Borgli. Sure. I'm going to get that right. Who brought Dream Scenario, I think we reviewed a couple of years ago with Nicolas Cage. So we'll be discussing that film in just a few moments. Along with that review, we also have some trailers we're going to be showing in our trailer tapas section of the show, where we kind of give the little morsels of trailers we like to take a gander at, see if it looks to be anything interesting that we're going to be trying to track as a film later in the year or when they come out. And then Chris does have a recommendation to share with us this week as well, a film recommendation from his vault of film knowledge and film experience. Chris will be bringing another one of his patented recommendations to the table at the end of the show. So stay tuned and make sure you stick around for that. But before we get to any of the trailers or Chris's recommendation, we do need to perform our review, our stated review, our promised review here in this episode, and that is of the film The Drama.
Ready and turn. Nice.
The wedding is this Saturday. What stories are you gonna do?
What do you mean, my speech?
Yeah. Are you gonna use the first time we met?
Yes.
Okay, what about the first date?
Yeah, of course.
Fuck!
You don't have to do a speech.
So you're saying Charlie is your first
Love? Yeah.
First love or your first crush?
Both, I think. Wait, is that insane?
At 30?
The Drama stars Zendaya and Robert Pattinson as Emma and Charlie, a happily engaged couple whose relationship gets put to the test when an unexpected turn sends their wedding week off the rails. A tagline for the film proclaims, "Witness the wedding of the year." Alan, with The Drama, do you feel like you did indeed witness the wedding or the events leading up to the wedding of the year?
We definitely saw the wedding of the year, that is for sure. Yes. To answer your question, yes, I do feel like I saw this. The Drama, as you gave the one-line description there, we have Zendaya and Robert Pattinson as a couple that we learn how they met. We learn a lot of background about their relationship, but all of this really kind of transpires in a week, in real time. I think the week leading up to their actual wedding.
Yeah, I mean, they're like flashbacks to things like how they met and stuff. But yes.
But the actual real time of what we're experiencing is all leading up to them getting married. But we do learn more about their relationship.
Right.
And we learned some information, some things. This is kind of teased in the trailers and marketing material, but something is revealed, something's understood and shared that really turns the whole week on its head and takes this relationship to a different place. That leads to the culmination with a wedding, and I think we can kind of leave a lot of the details on the table about that. But to suffice it to say, this is a This is an interesting film. I'm going to go ahead and say I loved it, but, and there's a really big but. Your mileage with this film is going to vary on how well you can accept the tone balance that this film tries to accomplish. Because I'll just kind of explain. I saw this with a family member. We kind of did our dissection of the film afterwards, and where both of us liked the film from a technical standpoint, I enjoyed it and was happy. I was okay with the tone balance. The other member of my family was not. So, and I get it because I totally understood what the challenge is here. The subject matter, it gets very dark, and it gets very, it can be triggering and upsetting. And I think that trying to balance what is being packaged as a very dark comedy, dark romantic comedy, with a very, very heavy subject matter at its core, it's a tough balance, and it's not going to work for a lot of people. It worked for me, mainly because I was really taken with the performances. I thought both Zendaya and Robert Pattinson were really, really strong and good in this. And I am a big fan of the editing and kind of storytelling style that this film employed. It utilizes a lot of flash forward, flashbacks, kind of a lot of playing with time and memories. That's the thing that I think I was probably the most impressed with, is that so much of the story is told by what each of the two people want to see or want to remember or choose to remember or choose to think about. And I love the way it was kind of just edited together, and it just kept a really nice rhythm and motion to the whole film. So I really did appreciate this film, but boy, oh boy, it's going to be a tough one. And I do not blame anybody coming out of this movie saying, yeah, it did not work, because again, if they don't get that tone balance right for somebody, it's not an enjoyable experience. So with that, Chris, I'd really am kind of anxious to hear your thoughts on the drama and what you thought about it.
Going in, I think the marketing, A24's marketing, I mean, they always kind of do some interesting marketing, but with the film, depending on which poster, which images you've seen, you kind of knew it wasn't just a straightforward comedy. There were hints that it was going to be, I think one of the posters has Zendaya in a wedding dress, and Robert Pattinson's character has a black eye. You can tell, you're like, okay, but he's in a tuxedo or whatever. So you're like, okay. And yeah, billed as a dark comedy. This film, yeah, I'll say off the bat, I did appreciate it. I did like it. For many of the reasons you stated, it was kind of kept you guessing as far as what was happening because of the editing that you mentioned, and the way that, yes, it was kind of starting here, working forward up the week of their wedding to their wedding. But you did have things like flashbacks, but within those flashbacks, like Robert Pattinson's character, Charlie, how he meets Emma, Zendaya's character, at a coffee shop. He kind of has these, you think it is what's happening, but then it jumps back and it's like, nope, he was too shy to do that. So this is what really happened. And it's within the flashbacks, they're these cuts of kind of how he thinks he's going to do things, but those don't really happen. And then Emma's character has some interesting flashbacks of her time in high school and some things so yeah, it's a very interesting, fascinating film, which, as you mentioned, this filmmaker made dream scenarios. So we should, if you come with that knowledge, you're like, okay, this is how, it's not a surprise, I guess. What the film basically, we've been dancing around so far, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's kind of a pivotal scene, maybe 20 minutes into the film.
About a third of the way through the film.
Where Emma and Charlie sit down with two friends at kind of a it's supposed to be because they've been, waffling back and forth, maybe just to get free wine and free food. Yeah. But they are at the final tasting where they're deciding, okay, this is going to be the menu that's going to be served at our wedding. This is the wine we're going to have. And, two of their best friends they're a couple as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so, they know these people and they're, very comfortable, having a kind of good time. And then I don't remember I guess maybe they're just bored and they're wasting time, but they decide to play a game. And the game is, what's the worst thing you've ever done? And their friend Mike maybe it was his idea to kind of start it. So he says the first sentence, and you're like, okay, you can see why he's embarrassed by that or whatever. Struggles to even tell it because he's like embarrassed by it.
Actually, it's his significant other,
Rachel,
pressuring him to tell this story for some reason.
And so he's
then
like, okay, fine.
I'll do it, but we
Okay,
all have
right.
to now say our.
But if if I'm going to do it, then we're all going to do it. So so he tells his story. Rachel then tells hers, which is a little worse.
Yeah.
So you kind of graduate in degrees. Then we go to Charlie. He tells his instance. And then finally we come to Emma.
Yeah.
And she, goes along with the game and says, okay, the thing that she shares is what kind of throws everything into chaos.
Yeah.
And the thing that she shares is disturbing, unsettling. And I think that's why I think not trying to see this film, it does have funny things in it, but if you come in just thinking this is going to be a drama, you may accept it a little better because having that scene as the instances kind of get a little bit more unsettling and disturbing and having that, if you have in the mind, like, wait, where's this going? It can kind of put a bad taste in your mouth. And like you said, I totally get how people's mileage will vary.
Absolutely. Just like, and I mean, again, and that's the intention of this film.
Yeah.
I mean, we are supposed to be just like the four characters sitting at this table that hear this realization. All four of them have very different reactions to that information.
Yes.
And that's how we're supposed to be as an audience.
Charlie does not know this about Emma either.
Right, no, it was a revelation to
So all three people sitting around the table, other than Emma, so the four of them, she shares it. Charlie's like, do
and
what?
He's marrying her in like 4 or 5 days.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, it's very startling. And have to say, Alana Haim, who plays Rachel, she was in Licorice Pizza. It's the first time, she's a singer, but that was the first time I'd really seen her because I don't listen to Haim's music. But saw her in Licorice Pizza. Her acting in that scene, I was like, well, and I remember she got a lot of notoriety for Licorice Pizza, but her acting in that scene, I was like, whoa. And and she's toe to toe with two people across the table, Pattinson and Zendaya, who are really well known. But that dynamic was really, really interesting. And I'll say too, just like the people around the table, depending on your life experiences, it can make this movie a harder sit.
Well, your life experience is your just general willingness to go with the film that does play it for some dark laughs later in the film.
True.
And that's where I think the uncomfortableness is going to come with people. It's like, I think the film really thought about this a lot last night after seeing it. I think the film, you can be with the film up to this revelation. The question then becomes, okay, now that you know this information, the information is not, learning that is not going to change your opinion of this film. It's how the film chooses to balance its tone, given that this is the core thing that now is weighting the film down. Are you okay with kind of having a little bit of fun with it later in the film? Because the film does try to do that in some ways. There's some moments, there's some lines of dialogue, there's some sound effects, there's some things that are trying to play fun with the fact
for
that
a
what
second
you know.
there, I couldn't follow, but yes. Okay.
Yeah, no, and even just the scenario. I mean, Chris, when we find out later on what, again, I'm going to say this as broadly as I can.
Sure.
When there's more discussion going on between our two leads to understand
Charlie and
more
Emma.
about this revelation that they've learned about Emma, and Charlie is really trying to understand the mechanics of what was going on and all that. You actually learn some backstory of how things didn't happen certain ways that are actually kind of funny, but it's funny in the darkest possible way possible. So it's just, the film knows what it's doing. It's
Sure.
No, we're going to make it uncomfortable laughing at some moments, given given the subject matter we're dealing with. And again, that's where mileage is going to vary widely by people. And I totally get it. I appreciated the film because it was a film that meant to be challenging. It is meant to be very challenging on where do you stand on, of those 4 people sitting at that table when that revelation came out, which one are you, type of thing as a person, as a human being.
Right.
And I think that's always a fascinating situation to put filmmakers in or film goers in. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of, what you come into the film with is going to kind of determine, and how you sit with it, of course. And I think in making this film, and there's basically Emma's character reveals a very hot button issue, subject, topic. The way it's done, and I think not knowing that going in, as opposed to another hot button film, Eddington, that came out that had COVID and had like the political divide and everything, but you knew that going in.
Yeah.
And there were comedic elements in that film as well, but like that pretty dark. This, you kind of don't have a sense of what's going on, but I think, and that's why, Alan, we're always careful about dancing around things, but I think it's important to not reveal that because
I agree. Yeah.
it, in a way, because it manages to not hit you over the head with it, because it just kind of presents it.
You need to be in Charlie's shoes for that moment,
right?
For this film to work.
Agreed.
If you have that foregone knowledge ahead of time, you can't put yourself in Charlie's head,
right?
And that's important because the film wants us to be in both Charlie and Emma's head throughout the latter half of this film, mostly in Charlie's head,
sure,
but we also get put in Emma's head too, and it's a weird litmus test on human nature and like how we feel about people's choices and decisions and things and actions or thoughts of actions in the past and whether that reflects on who they are now. It's very
how well
interesting.
can you really know somebody?
Yeah. I love a film that's going to challenge us to think about those things. So this film absolutely did that, and added to the fact that I thought the performances were really, really strong. The filmmaking was really strong. I just felt, very competent filmmaking for dealing with a touchy subject matter. I really appreciated and liked this film. Although, again, I get it. I absolutely get it. It's not going to work for a lot of people. It's going to be very troubling and very difficult to watch, and it's going to be upsetting. And I totally get all that.
Sure,
I totally understand that. So
some of the lighter aspects of the film, if you can say that, but some of the comedy that I appreciate that was not related to some of the comedy that really worked for me, and I was able to laugh, and there was nothing heavy associated with it. Things like posing for wedding photos.
Yes.
I enjoyed that. Worrying about like the big dance that's going to be done and like the lengths they go to, and how Emma's character is just like not into it and just basically brushes it off. And they have like a choreographer supposedly helping both of them. And she's like, let's just do that. So that was funny to me. There's also a thing, a gag that Emma does to kind of always try to lighten the mood. She basically pants, Charlie, she'll like pull his pants down, just like if they're having a fight, she'll just pull his pants down. It's like a joke to kind of break the tension, and, seems to work. But that is, and doesn't go well. And something like that's a callback that it is humor, and it helps break the tension, but it's not like dark humor. It's just like, outright humor. So there are enough of those in the film that it allowed me to kind of have a release valve, a pressure release valve.
Well,
for the film.
and I mean, and this is probably the darkest comedy moment I can recall in the film, but I'll just say we even get to the wedding reception, probably the most uncomfortable wedding reception we've ever seen depicted on film in any situation. And there is a sound effect utilized
during the father's speech.
Yes, which is both comically hilarious and tragically upsetting, all at the same moment. And that's, again, that one moment is like, okay, that's what this film is doing. It's like, it's forcing us to laugh while also being completely unsettled and distressed about what's happening.
Sure.
So,
And I think, now when does the friend, played by Alana Haim, when does Rachel's speech come? Before the father's speech or after the father's speech?
I think it's after.
Okay. again, kudos to the writing of it, but also to Alana Haim's portrayal of it. And it, again, they've been friends. There's been this revelation. They've had a pretty huge falling out. She is there at the wedding. And that speech just it's kind of, I don't know. You could just really watch that speech and try to like parse out
there's a lot to analyze
feelings
on that.
like that. You're like, hey, she's there, she's doing this. However, but still being true to herself and just very like, I don't know. There's a lot going on.
Well, and I will mention too. So, about 90% of the way through this film, I'm saying to myself, okay, well, this film is I'm rolling with this film. I'm appreciating it. It's working for me. But are they going to nail an ending? And that was my big question. Is okay. This is a film that I could very easily see it totally whiffing the ending or not choosing to give us an ending.
Okay.
And I will tell you, on paper, if you had told me what the ending of this film was, I'd be like, But the way it was played on the film, I'm like, nope, love it. It was actually, I love the ending. But anyway, what's your thoughts?
No, I was going to say, it's interesting you point that out because the last note I have down, scene of the film, I thought was great and served as satisfying a conclusion as you could get to the film.
Yes.
Also helped that it was, in a way, foreshadowed and teased. So you kind of, like, once it starts happening, you're like, okay, it looks like they're going for this. Mm-hmm. Now that they're going for this, is it going to work? And for me, yes.
Yeah, I was very satisfied with the ending. Very, very satisfied. Probably would have been disappointed with anything other than the way they ended it. So, no, look, it's tough for me to say that I love this movie because I get it. It's a tough one.
It's a lot.
Very,
it's a tough
very
set.
tough.
Yeah.
Very, very tough. And, even me recalling back some scenes and moments about midway through the film, especially a lot of flashbacks that we see, are very, very upsetting to see. And so for that purpose, I think it's worth a warning to people that, hey, there is some very, very troubling subject matter being discussed and involved in this situation. But it's couched around a film that I think asks some really good questions, gets your mind really thinking, and is done in a very, very nice polished package of way of doing that. So I'm a fan of the film, but I totally get it. I
think the balance that struck in that conversation that we mentioned, the tasting scene, but between Rachel and Emma, if that hadn't have been as well written as it was, and very kind of honest about what's going on, I think the film would have been a lot shakier for me if it had been played more for laughs. But at that dinner table, things get really raw really quick.
Yeah.
And if that hadn't been handled as well as it was, I think my mileage would have varied. But interesting film, a hard one to recommend.
True.
But,
no, it's true. I don't necessarily recommend it to people because I don't want to be pushing people into a situation to see a film that I think is going to really upset a lot of people. And I think people could come out of this film with a very different opinion than I do. I think you could appreciate it technically, but I think there's going to be a lot of people are just going to come out and not be able to grasp the tone balance that this film is trying to achieve, and is either going to find it to be too glib about a very serious subject matter, or maybe they can find that balance that I was able to somehow find with it, where I get what they're doing with this film, and they want us to feel those extreme emotions, and all of that built to a very stressful ending, but also a satisfying conclusion to the film. So anyway,
I think it is probably, not that I've seen a lot. Well, I mean, I've seen a fair bit. Probably one of my favorite things that Robert Pattinson's done. Mickey 17. I thought he was good in the film, but overall something about it just didn't quite work for me as well.
Yeah.
May have been expectations because it's Bong Joon-ho, but this one, I just think the balance of the material and the film itself, and Zendaya, thought it was really,
I mean,
really impressive for her.
Just think about it. This is Robert Pattinson. The guy's kind of become a chameleon to some degree in that this is the same guy who played the Batman in Matt Reeves' Batman movie. I'm like, how is this the same character, the same actor? And it's like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And then Zendaya, my respect for her has grown almost with each film I've seen her do. I really felt like I recognized her in Challengers. That was a film where I'm like, okay, I get it. She's really good. I see that. And in this one, I felt she was even better than she was in Challengers because I felt like I knew this character a lot more. And I think she had a lot to carry in this film.
She did.
And I think she did it extremely well. So
agreed.
yeah. Okay. Well, that is the drama. We're both coming out positive on it. Sounds like I'm maybe a little more positive than you. Maybe. I don't know if I'm reading that correctly. But either way, we're both on board with it.
Oh, yeah.
But we are both also very understanding of people not having those same feelings coming out of this film. And we totally understand and respect that.
Oh, yeah.
And also offer that as a bit of a cautionary tale to anybody exploring this film. So that is the drama by writer-director Christopher Borgli, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson and Alana Haim. And yeah, it's in theaters now. It's doing pretty good for an A24 movie. I think it did like 14 million opening weekend, which for a movie like this, it's pretty good.
Sure.
So we'll see how it holds up. I mean, it is getting a lot of buzz. I don't know if that buzz is necessarily going to translate to people coming out to see it or not. That's going to be the question. So anyway. All right, Chris.
Did you, one final thing, in the theater of people that you saw it with, did you have, I had a very interesting crowd, but they were some people that like laugh out loud at some parts, which I thought was, there's the tension there, but they, just at various moments. So kind of same experience for you?
Yeah, I saw it in probably a smaller crowd than you did. I only think I had like 6 other people in the whole theater. Didn't really see a lot of reaction from people, which is odd. Actually, I think the reactions I saw were more bewilderment that this is the film that they're now watching. Yeah, fair enough. I think once they realized where this film was going, like, I kind of was getting the vibe of some uncomfortableness and some, okay, this is not what we signed up for. So,
gotcha.
And I think there's going to be a lot of that with people. So, for sure. I mean, you mentioned that movie poster. I've got it hanging next door in our theater right now. And it's like, yeah, you look at it, it looks like it's going to be a silly marriage comedy of, like
if you thought War of the Roses was dark, just wait.
So that's,
about relationship.
It'd be interesting to see how the marketing affects this over the next week and all the press it's getting right now too. So, yeah. Okay, Chris, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we've got some trailers to share. So some films coming out soon that we're going to explore. And I think Chris has a recommendation for us. So we'll get to all that here in a moment. You're listening to Foot Candle Films. We'll be right back.
Carolina Barbecue Festival's 5th anniversary is almost here. Get your tickets today for the Queen City's biggest barbecue party, April 17th and 18th, Victoria Yards in Uptown Charlotte. 30 pit masters are celebrating Carolina barbecue traditions, supporting Operation Barbecue Relief, and serving you the very best barbecue. The fun starts Friday night with the kickoff and a salute to all things Charlotte barbecue. Then we all get together for Barbecue Saturday and tasting plates from 25 pitmaster stations. Tickets are going fast, especially VIP early entry. Get yours today, CarolinaBBQFest.org. Then join us April 17th and 18th for the Carolina Barbecue Festival.
Hello and welcome back to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. We had our review of The Drama with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson in the first half of the show. Now we move on to our news section, which is mostly predominantly we talk trailers, because really I keep scouring for like news of like important announced projects or other things, and there's just not been a lot of news popping out the last couple months. It's just been trailers for films coming out later in the year. So that's where we spend our time watching the trailers.
But if we give news items too early, a lot of times things completely fall apart.
True.
A,
That's
or
true.
B, they keep changing like directors or actors. So it's like, at least when we see a trailer, we're like, okay,
all right, well,
this is probably happening.
This is definitely happening.
Right.
There is film. We can see
Yes.
film footage of this happening. So we're going to discuss 3 trailers that are coming up, films coming up. Actually, they're all coming up fairly soon, like
Okay.
within the next couple months. So we're not talking about ones months out from now. First off, let's talk about a trailer for a film called Is God Is. This is coming out May 15th. The log line on it is that 2 sisters embark on an epic quest for revenge, confronting a charged family history that will push them to extraordinary lengths. The film is Alicia Harris's directorial debut and is based on her adaptation of her award-winning play of the same name. So that's kind of cool.
Interesting.
So Alicia Harris, first time directing a film. She did an adaptation of her own play, Is God Is.
Okay.
And now making a film. So that's got me really even more intrigued. We did see the trailer for this already in front of the drama last night, but we're going to watch it here
And
together.
I wanted to hear your thoughts about it. So that's
it's an interesting trailer.
Yes.
Looks to be a very interesting film. Let's watch the trailer
Sure.
and we'll dissect it here on the other end. So this is God Is.
Swing. We got a letter from Mom.
I thought she was dead. What she want with us now? Where she been at?
She's on her deathbed. If we don't go now, this might be our last chance to see God.
God.
She made us, didn't she?
All right, so that is the trailer for Is God Is, coming out, looks like May 15th is what I said there, from Orion Pictures. Chris, well, and Amazon MGM Studios doing that as well. Thoughts on that?
The most Jordan Peele-esque movie not to be written, directed, or even appears to be produced by Jordan Peele. Like when this first started, I'd heard of the film. And when I first started the preview, when I was watching the preview, I was like, "Oh, is this going to be?" Because I know he has a movie that is, and I'm like, "No," and I was like, "Wow, this is really interesting."
Yeah.
And curious now that I have the knowledge that you mentioned in the setup that it's based on a play
Yeah.
that she had done. It looks ultra violent, but also has elements of comedy in there,
Yeah.
and then. Hard to go wrong when you use a Beyonce song that I happen to like in your trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks to be really interesting. Hopefully they didn't reveal too much, but it looks to be interesting.
I mean, and I hate comparing like first time directors like trailers to other filmmakers and saying, "Oh, it's like this film." I hate saying that,
Sure,
but
I
I'm
understand.
still gonna say it just because the vibe. It's got a very Tarantino feel to
the
it.
violence.
Well, the violence mixed with this notion of revenge, this notion of tracking down someone, and then the use of the music kind of to accentuate it.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of that vibe going to it. I hope this stands alone and it kind of has its own vision and style to it. That's what I'm hoping to see with this.
Yeah, it's like if Jordan Peele, there again,
right.
filmmaker standalone, but just kind of referencing our initial thoughts.
Jordan Peele and
If Jordan,
Tarantino.
Jordan
blend
Peele
together.
made a Tarantino film. This is kind of what I think
kind of
I'd
where
see.
it could look.
I mean that as praise for the
Yes.
film.
And I hope this actually has its own style and feel to it that is kind of branded at the end of the day. I love the fact that, Sterling K. Brown appears to be a key role. We don't really see him. I like the fact that his role is very off to the side, very menacing in the trailer. I hope that's a kind of a vibe the film's going for as well. I think that'll be fun. So Yeah,
and it lets you know, he's going to be in the film, but just let his presence loom so large until.
Well, and just the decision. I really want to know if I assume this was the stage play version of this as well. That we have 2 of the 3 main characters' faces are burned and scarred. I mean, that seems to be something that's happening throughout the film. And I think that's great. I think that's daring. I think that really kind of adds a very unique feel to it. And it's just, if this is a revenge story about the person who did these crimes on these women, then yeah, these are like reminders throughout the entire film that we're just going to see in front of us. So I like that. That's daring. It's good. Again, I'm actually really curious to see the play or see about the stage version of it.
Sure.
Maybe even before seeing the film, just so I could kind of see how they adapted it. So anyway.
Yeah, it seems... yeah, I can't imagine the play. I mean, I can, but like it just...
Yeah.
It seems like with the film version, they've taken it to 11, but we'll see.
We will see. But that is God Is coming out in theaters May 15th. Okay. So we will definitely have a chance to see that here in the next couple of months. All right. Now, the next two trailers that we're going to do, the other two trailers we're going to show, kind of weird synchronicity here in that they are very similar in their films and the type of film they are.
Okay.
So first up, let's do one that's actually a film from Neon Pictures that's coming out actually this weekend, I believe, in some capacity.
Okay. That
is called Exit 8. And this is based on the global hit video game created by Kotaki Kreishi. And it's a man trapped in an endless, sterile subway passageway sets out to find Exit 8. That is what we've got. So we're going to take a look at the trailer for Exit 8, and then we're going to talk about it and see how similar it is to the one we're going to watch right after this. The next trailer. Here we go. Enough. Exit 8.
Exit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right. So that was the trailer for Exit 8. It's actually coming out April 10th in some select theaters. That's this weekend as we're recording this. So this is right on the cusp here of release. And apologies to everybody, of course, on an audio podcast. It was a subtitled trailer. So didn't expect anybody to be able to make out any of the language necessarily unless you happen to know Japanese. But otherwise, Chris, given all that, your take on what you saw here in this trailer.
Visually, I'm interested in it. Horror films, we discussed, I can not necessarily my bag and be skittish about, but I am interested in this one because it kind of lets you know if you have to watch the trailer, unless you, like Alan said, you're fluent in the language, but it tells you kind of, here are some rules. The idea is this guy's trapped in a subway. It says, if you do this, it says to follow these rules, try to get out. But if you do that, I think it's a very interesting premise. I like how it's shot. Mm-hmm. Even the trailer using the music is kind of playing with, it's this light, airy, music and stuff. But I don't know, can it maintain that for a feature-length running time? Like a short film, sure. Like the trailer, very effective, awesome. Mm-hmm. But doing that for like 80, 90 minutes, don't know if it can maintain it. But if they can, bravo. Also, I guess just because of the way things are shot and kind of the game aspect of it, reminded me of like a horror version of Squid Game.
Yes.
So, which I was a fan of Squid Game. So, yeah, I'm curious about it. Don't know if they can maintain the level of intrigue or whether you'll just get kind of bored with it. But we'll see. I'm definitely interested in checking it. And the fact that it does have the Neon name attached to it is too. I'm like, okay, well that gives me some. Yeah, that gives me some confidence.
No, this is totally my bag. I'm down with this. I'm ready for this, and excited to see it. I honestly, today was the first I even heard of this film, so now it's like on my radar already. But it's just really interesting that I'm showing that trailer right before this next trailer. You mentioned that the previous one, Exit 8, was Neon Pictures was helping release it here in the United States.
Right.
So Neon's kind of getting behind that, which we've talked about how Neon is kind of possibly inching up to where A24 has been in your esteem as far as a release studio.
Right.
But the next film I'm going to show you is an A24 film.
Okay.
That is based on an online content.
Oh, okay.
Not a game, but YouTube content that I'll explain in a moment. And it has a very similar look and feel to the film. And this is a film called Backrooms.
Wait a second. Mm-hmm. This is blowing my mind. I just recently read a book called Hidden Rooms. Mm-hmm. And it was by a YouTuber who I'd never heard of. I don't do a lot of YouTube, but Uketsu. And his whole thing is he does these drawings that reveal like mysteries and all this kind of stuff. And he's written apparently Hidden Pictures, Hidden Rooms, and he has one called Hidden Buildings. But I had not put two and two together. I wonder if this has anything to do with.
I don't know.
Backrooms. Okay.
This film we're going to see the trailer for, Backrooms, is actually a film by Kane Parsons.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like.
But now Kane Parsons.
Oh wait, but they're translated by that because this guy, obviously, I'm reading it in English. I'm not reading it in the original language. This guy writes it in or doesn't. So I wonder. Still don't know. I don't know. Okay.
All I know is that Kane Parsons has done YouTube videos where he has created these 3D CGI environments and done like first-person videos recordings through them, kind of made these narrative stories out of it, but it's a bit of a mystery and unknowing. You're inside of a strange place where you just... Anyway, I'll let the trailer explain it, but just know this is all based off of YouTube series that Kane Parsons did himself. Okay. So now he's directing a feature film based on his own his
so
own
it sounds
content.
like it's two separate things. But
Yeah,
interestingly,
but
they have
probably
some
a lot of
overlap.
heavy inspiration or some ideas funneled between them.
Okay.
And you're going to see that there's a lot of similarities to even to Exit 8 that we were seeing as far as the visual style and the environment that we're dealing with. So this film, Backrooms, it stars Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Okay.
Renate Rensiv from Sentimental Value and The Worst Person in the World. Also, Mark Duplass is in this. And this is an A24 film, an adaptation of online content created by Kane Parsons, who is now also directing the film. It's coming out May 29th. Let's watch the official trailer for this, and we can do a little compare and contrast on what we've seen so far between both of these films. Because again, I think there's a lot of similarities here.
I found something in the store.
Okay. What did you find?
The place. I found a place.
Yeah. So that was the trailer for Backrooms. Now, let's do a little analysis here.
Sure.
Very similar type of motif where you have a strange environment, a more enclosed environment, just like we saw in Exit 8. There's appear to be questions about the purpose of this area or what you have to do to get out type of thing. Anyway, a lot of similarities there. And if we get back up a little bit, Chris, too, you mentioned some books that you were reading that kind of play in the same concept idea.
Yeah.
We have these two films. I was a big fan of the show Severance on Apple TV.
Oh, sure.
And I think there's a lot of borrowing of kind of this concept between these different medium. I'm curious kind of what came first because I think even Backrooms, like even the font used like in the promotion of the trailer, it's very Severance and all. But I also think the YouTube series that Kane Parsons did that this is all based on might have predated Severance. So maybe Severance got inspiration from it. I don't know. Anyway, just a fascinating idea. Your thoughts on the trailer you saw for Backrooms from A24?
Yeah, very interesting to have these two films coming out. So, one has stars in it that we've seen, and the other one doesn't. Obviously, one will be an international film, the other one will be a local film, or not local, but domestic film. So how they play again? Do they end up being nothing alike?
Right. I don't know.
Or do they end up being like carbon copy? Which one do you prefer? Yeah. Which one came first? Yeah. All these, which one was in development first? Yeah. Who? Yeah. Lots of questions there. Don't have answers to any of it.
But what? The same questions you asked about Exit 8 are the same questions I have about Backrooms.
Can it sustain
a feature-length film on a concept that, looks like it would be custom made for YouTube content or a short film or something else, but Here we're going to do it in a narrative feature-length film. Does it hold up? Can they sustain? Is there enough there to work with? I don't know. We'll see.
Here's kind of like the thing that, A24, that helps. But Renee Rinsva, she's been in Sentimental Value. She's in A Different Man. She was in Worst Person in the World. It's kind of the thing, like, if I see her in something, I'm like, okay, I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
I think because I'd heard of Exit 8 and had seen the trailer first, and then I saw this, and I'm kind of like, well, just because of how the order I've seen things, I'm like, maybe a little less interested in Backrooms. But the fact that she is in on the project, I'm like, okay, and something completely different from what I've seen her kind of do.
And I also say too, I mean, I know we've been maybe a little disillusioned with some of A24's content this past year or so, but it's still, I mean, they're still a good studio putting out good stuff, interesting stuff for the most part.
I mean, they did the drama.
Even if it doesn't all work, we're
yeah.
still kind of fans of the studio in general.
Sure.
So for them to also to kind of get involved with this project and help make this happen, I'm very curious and very anxious to see it. Both of these films look like exactly my films. Like they are the kind of films I love. Mystery, kind of not understanding environment, somebody trying to figure out where they are and why they're there and how to get out. That all works for me. So I'm on board with both of these, but I'm very curious to see if the similarities end with the trailers or if either of them can make a narrative film work out of this. So
sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is Backrooms. That is coming out May 29th in theaters as well.
Okay.
And that is our trailers for today. Is God Is, Exit 8, and Backrooms, all coming out within the next 45 to 60 days. So kind of exciting, some interesting films that we'll get to check out here before too long. And I think now, Chris, we are at the end of the show where we do our last segment, which is the recommendation from you. Chris sees movies. I mean, we both do, but Chris sees movies a lot more. He's much better at cataloging his film going experiences. He uses Letterboxd to kind of track and manage all of his lists. If you ever want to see what Chris is watching or has seen, you check out his Letterboxd profile. It's Chris Fry, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Your actual name.
Nice and
first
simple.
Name, first name, last name.
That's me.
Same as me, but mine is not as exciting. I don't put as much up there. Chris logs it all. So Chris, what do you have for us to recommend as a film on this episode?
So we were just talking about things that had, I guess, filmmakers who got their start with YouTube, or, that was one of the big places. Alan, are you familiar with the short films, either Eagles Are Turning People into Horses or Eureka?
No.
Okay.
No and no.
Neither was I.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the film that I'm about to recommend, I went back and I was like, okay. First was a film school project. It was their senior project, I guess, for Nick Coker and Brian McElhaney.
Right.
Was Eagles Are Turning People into Horses. Okay. And then from that, Nick Coker wrote Eureka, and saw both those, liked them. So what am I actually going to recommend on the show? Well, they just released a feature film on Hulu, Pizza Movie. This film is nothing like our review for this episode, the drama, like a heavy movie that you have to do a lot of thinking. No, excuse me. This movie is basically a stoner, college buddy film that is almost like a Naked Gun film. Not because that has a mystery, but this is just, as Naked Gun films are like joke a minute, some work, some don't. You just turn your brain off and just enjoy the ride. That's what Pizza Movie was for me. You see the trailer for the film, and you're like, okay, this looks completely ridiculous and dumb. And I don't think they would shy away from that. They said, that's what this is. It's supposed to just be fun. And
was it fun?
It was fun. Okay. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. Okay. The guy who was, if you're looking at it from a star perspective, not familiar with a bunch of people, but the one that most people will be familiar with is Gaten Matarazzo, and he is in You'll recognize him from Stranger Things. Dustin from Stranger Things. Yes. So he is in it, and he does a great job playing a nerdy character. Oh, shock, right? But no, it's great, and there is a little bit of breaking the fourth wall towards the end of the film that was just amazing. So anyways, that all said, if you're looking for something fun, nothing serious, it does have a lot of like crazy humor, not for children, but pizza movie. I recommend it.
Movie.
It's fun. It's fun. It just came out on Hulu. So if you subscribe to that service, you can see it.
Hulu Pizza Movie.
Yes.
That is a Chris Fry recommendation there.
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, I was not familiar with it. I will be checking it out because I like good, fun movies.
And if you're willing to put up with, I guess you can pay to not have ads on YouTube. Is that a true statement?
I don't know anymore.
Okay.
I honestly, I do not know all the levels and tiers
of YouTube
of anything. YouTube, Hulu, Bloopy, YouTube, whatever these places are. I don't know anymore. I'm constantly like turning on and off subscriptions every month.
Well, I'll say
they're so annoying.
Eagles are turning people into horses.
Yeah.
Just that title, you're like, okay, that is of the crazy, zany, like what is going on type thing that you can tell like, oh yeah, these guys totally made Pizza Movie. That's fun. So I guess I'll make it a 3-for-1 recommendation. That's fun. But the ads that you have to go stumble through on YouTube are really irritating. But it is on YouTube. It is free. Eagles are turning people into horses. Totally still comedic, but very like cerebral type film, like a Charlie Kaufman type thing, is Eureka. And I also strongly recommend. And the look of that, you can tell like, okay, they're out of film school now. Money. He only wrote it. He didn't direct it, but you can just tell like, the steps in progress of like being filmmakers. So, yeah.
All right. That's
Pizza
a threesome for Chris Fry there. So, Pizza Movie. And I've already forgot the name of the
the one's really hard.
It was really
Eagles
hard.
are turning people into horses.
Something. And then the other one was
Eureka.
Mm-hmm. All right. The 2 short films available on YouTube.
Yes, for free.
And then Pizza Movie on
Hulu.
Okay, There we go. That is our recommendations for the episode. Chris, you might have just used up like your next 2 weeks.
I know. Have to
restock your recommendation pile for next week. With that, I think we're going to wrap this show up. We had our review of The Drama, which definitely did have some drama in the film and a little bit in our review as well. Came out both positive on the film, but with severe understanding, possible warning, possible advice to people to check it out, that it is a much, much heavier, much darker, much possibly more upsetting subject matter than you might be expecting going in.
Yes.
We'll leave it at that. And then we had our trailers for Is God Is, Exit 8, and Backrooms all coming out in the next several weeks, and Chris's recommendations. So Chris, as always, if anybody would like to chime into our conversation, dialogue with us, please tell them how they could do so.
Sure. If you'd like to, you can contact us by sending an email to info@footcandle.org or leave a voicemail at themesh.tv website, where you can also check out past episodes of Foot Candle Films, as well as other podcasts on various subjects from barbecue to comedy to mental health. We are also on Facebook at Foot Candle Film Society, as well as other social platforms. It's just simply Foot Candle Film. And as Alan's mentioned, individually, we're also on Letterboxd, where you can give us a follow there. Do us a favor, if you like the show, consider leaving us a review on whatever platform you receive your favorite podcast on, because it will help us reach new listeners, and we'd appreciate that.
All right. Good deal. Well, we will go ahead and wrap this up then. So thanks everybody for listening today, and we'll look forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care.
See you in the ticket line.
Watch films in the company of like-minded people in the dark. Watch films in the underground. We won't let anyone know where you are. The films that don't make it to Carmike at the mall, or ones that were famous when Grandpa would watch films out of the reverence of the heritage of an art. Watch films through the courtesy of Foot Candle Film Society.
Special thanks to Carpal Tuller for the show theme music. For more about Carpal Tuller, visit www.carpaltuller.com. You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.